Rock Talk with Tyson Bryden. Welcome to Nonstop Rock Talk. I am your host, Tyson Bryden. On today's show, I am very happy to welcome multi-talented artist Anthony White. Anthony, welcome. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show. How's it going?
Thank you so much. It's going good. Great to be here.
Perfect. So before we dive into the past, let's talk about what you're up to these days. You have a band in which you sing and play guitar called Generation Landslide.
I do.
The first single came out February 18th, I believe, entitled Feel the Sensation.
Correct.
Killer track. I was trying to place it a little bit. And you know what? The thing I came up with, it was kind of has a Richie Kotzen vibe, which I thought like early Richie Kotzen. I don't know if anyone said that to you, but I was like...
Nope, not yet.
Really, eh? And yeah, that's cool. So the album drops in this month, Ruling the Street Scene, I believe it is called.
Yeah. Not coming out till June.
Oh, it's June now. Okay.
It comes out in June, correct. We're taking a little bit more steps to get more awareness and stuff before we just throw it out there.
The biggest question is, and I was trying to look up where it can be found. For those interested, where is it? Will it be available on all the streaming sites? I know the single is available.
Yes, it should be everywhere. Plus, we're going to have CD. We're going to have all the formats. It's taking a little bit longer to do the vinyl, though, because obviously everybody knows because of COVID and all the stuff that's happened. Things are running behind. So, but it will ultimately be out on vinyl as well. So
sweet. I didn't know if it was going to be on vinyl. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, the slaughter of, speaking of vinyl, Fear No Evil, which was on sale last year, still hasn't come out.
Right. I heard about that.
Yeah.
Right. I knew about that. That was behind. And there was something else, and I can't think of the name of the group right now that I had known people in. Same thing. They're running behind as well. So, yeah.
It's just the way it is, right? But as vinyl collectors like myself, you're like, you just have to be patient. You're just like, yeah, it's going to be here eventually. It's It was like the tough vinyl that took like what comes around goes around. That took, I think I ordered that in June. It came in late last fall, I think. So
I'm actually looking forward to it myself because I don't collect vinyl, but I have the vinyl stuff that I've been involved in. I have both of the Xcursion albums. I have the radio station albums that Xcursion had a song on. There was 3 of them that we had that on. I have the Cold Sweat one. Plus I have back in those days, I don't know if they still do it, they have the flats. You know how they used to have the album cover flats?
Yeah.
It would show the cover and then on the back it would say something about it or a picture or it would say featuring. Yeah, I have one of those too. So I'm actually looking forward to that album more than I am the CD or, anything else, actually. That
is cool. I didn't realize there was more than one Xcursion album, to be honest with you.
There is. The first one was an EP.
Right.
And the picture of the skull on it with the tiara and the whole.
Okay,
Right. And then the second was an album called Ready to Roll. And we were all dressed in white, similar to the Angel cover. If anybody knows the old Angel cover of Sinful, what we did was we took the 3 middle guys and we just kind of positioned ourselves like that because we had changed from the Kiss look that we had for the first EP, where we were all in black. And then we changed it all in white on that. So, yeah, so there's 2 of those. 3 songs, one on each of the local radio station called KOMP 92. We had a song on 3 volumes of that. And we have one other thing that's like a collector's thing, I guess, from what people say. We have a whole album that has Kelly Garney on it from Old Quiet Riot.
I knew that. Yes. Okay. That's cool.
So me and Mark have been in talks and stuff like that with some different people, and people want to put this Xcursion stuff out. But we want to do it right. We want to do it. Here's what you people have heard. We want to add the rest of it to it. We want to add that album that hardly anybody's heard, if anybody really. Yeah. And then we did a cover song of Led Zeppelin Communication Breakdown. The 3 of us just went into the studio and we just winged it. I sang one verse, Mark sang another verse, and we just guitar, bass, drums, and just threw it together. And nobody's ever heard that either. Yeah,
that's cool. So did you and Mark both do vocals in that band then?
We did. We both did. Correct.
I have a CD, and I don't know if it's actually it might be a bootleg. I bought it on eBay.
It is.
It is. Okay, so I would assume it's both albums, because everything you just described, it's got that cover with the skull.
Yes.
And then a picture on the inside of the band in black, and then the cover of the full length kind of in the back. Yeah. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I have that same one. I got it off of eBay as well, because I had heard all about it and stuff too. I guess a place from New Jersey is where I heard that it came from. Didn't know anything about it. Mark don't know anything. We don't know anything about it, but it just appeared one year, I guess, of some form.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, I'm going to look into it. So I did. And I can't even remember what it cost me, but I thought, well, I'm going to just give this a try just to see what this person, So I got it, and it's crude,
it is.
But it is. So
it was, I don't know. I was disappointed with it, because I was like, I don't think they really, I don't even know where they got what they would have transferred it from.
They couldn't. They didn't have any of that stuff.
No.
That's the whole point. What they probably did was took it off of the vinyl of each one of those things.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think that they did.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah. Right. So what we wanted to do is we want to put it out as the one and all. Okay, if you people are interested in Xcursion stuff, here's what we're doing, and here's what we got, and and go with that. That's where everything's at, where that's concerned.
That's cool, though. And I mean, you mentioned Kelly Garney. I just saw that, speaking of which, that the first 2 Quiet Riots are being reissued on vinyl as well, which I was like, wow, that's cool. For all those.
He didn't know anything about it either.
That's right. He didn't. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know anything about this. So who's running this? Who's, I mean, Kevin's not there. Randy's not there. So who is in charge of that? So it would be, I would think, Kelly and Drew.
I think it was, I heard it was Frankie was working on it before he passed away, but I thought that was odd.
I mean, yeah. So I did hear that, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, hopefully they do a good job with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. I hope it's up to spec, and they've actually gotten hold of the masters and actually take, like they do it justice. I hope it's just not somebody putting something out for the sake of, oh, here it is.
Right.
We didn't really do anything with it.
Right. And the thing is, I mean, with their concern and us just the same, like with the Xcursion, there's people out there that don't want to change it. But then we at the same time sit and go, well, wait a minute. We're on that. We're playing on that. We can fine tune it. I know it sounds whatever, but why not give the person a better listening experience to say, here's what we really intended in 1984 or 1985 to come across that we didn't do back then. So we have the opportunity to do it. why not try to make it sound better so people at least go, oh yeah, that's a one-off, cool, sounds great, and be done with it,
I agree. I mean, I hope that comes out, because I would be excited to get that. The only time I've ever actually seen a vinyl was on the Wildlife videotape, and some guy, this like huge Slaughter fan, came in, and he actually had the vinyl with the, I guess it'd be the full length with the three of you on the angel type of cover.
I think we've both come across that. He obviously a lot more than I have, but through my travels and my history and whatever, I've seen a few of them myself, and they wanted me to sign it with it when they had Mark on it, or vice versa. I've heard from Mark saying you were already on it, and I saw, so. But cool. I'm glad that it's still at least somewhere that somebody has it.
Yeah. How many copies were there?
I believe of that, there was only 1,000.
Wow.
And the funny thing about that is you would be lucky if there is, I'm going to take a guesstimate about maybe 250, maybe 300 at the most that have surfaced, because the rest of them were at my parents' house and they all got destroyed.
No.
Wind or rain or whatever and stuff. They just sitting in a shed. So, so there's not 1,000 of them out there that people have. I'd say between 200, 300, maybe 400 at the most that are around.
Now, was that the album that were both of them distributed by Green World? Which was, I remember.
Just the first one was.
Okay.
Just the EP was, yes. The second, a chance. We were going to do something with it, and then we thought, well, let's try to go somewhere further with it. But unfortunately, at the time, the band was kind of coming to an end, because we all kind of outgrew each other a little bit.
Yeah.
And by the time it all started to become whatever, I took off for LA.
So you took off before Mark did then?
I did. I left in 85, and then he left somewhere in like 87 or so when he got the Vinnie Vincent gig.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was always curious about that. I had wondered if the band was still together.
No.
When Mark bolted. Really? Eh?
Yeah, it was. He started a different band with 3 different. Actually, the bass player from Xcursion, he put in that band, but it was 2 other different guys and him. They called it Rose Parade. It was a different band.
Oh, I didn't know that. Huh.
5. Yeah.
Wow. Did you guys? Was there a big following for the band in Vegas at that time?
Oh my God, for Xcursion?
Yeah, for Xcursion.
Oh yeah, Bill. What are we? 30-something, 40 years later.
Yeah.
And I still come across people, because I moved back here a couple years ago, and I can't believe that people have come out of the wall and just, oh my God, I remember seeing you at a backyard party, at a kegger party in 80, whatever. And I'm thinking, you've got to be kidding me. I mean. Remember that? I mean, Xcursion, I guess, was a big deal. We didn't think anything about it. Mark, Al, and I didn't think anything about it. We were just kids.
Yeah.
But apparently still remember the vibe and the buzz and the, oh my God, I can't believe it still. It's crazy.
That's amazing. I just think it's amazing that you, I mean, both of you are great singers. And I mean, Mark Slaughter and Anthony White together in one band. I think that's a really, I guess you could say, a special thing, an amazing thing. I think there's probably there might be listeners that listen to this show that didn't even realize that you had played together in a band. Right.
Wouldn't that be something, the 2 of us again?
Yeah, man, that would be. And obviously you keep in touch with Mark still.
Yeah. And the thing is all these years later, we were just kids. So we did whatever we wanted, whatever we felt, in whatever way we wanted. Now we're a lot older, a lot wiser, and that, and say, okay, how about let's do something for real, again, 40 years later, but who knows? I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean,
wow. And he never called you to come and play with Slaughter or his Solar stuff or anything like that.
No, the way that went back then, from my recollection, and I'm sure there'll be people out there, maybe they remember more than I do, but I remember it was 89, I believe, because their album came out in 90, just like ours.
Yeah.
And it was 89 that I was out in LA. We were still hanging around and talking this and the other. He invited me down to Cherokee Studios and was telling me about the new band that he's putting together and stuff like that. And we started hanging out and stuff and asked me if I wanted to contribute on it and stuff. And I just said, no, that, whatever and stuff. I said, you guys, you got your band. At the time I was doing Mark Ferrari's band, which was Ferrari. Cold Sweat yet. So he was starting to do Slaughter. I was in Mark Ferrari's band called Ferrari. So our paths crossed and we hung out a little bit and stuff. But that's about it. That's really about as far as it went. He just kind of did his thing and I ended up doing mine. So
that's cool. I actually have a Ferrari press photo.
You do? You got to be kidding.
I do. Unfortunately, not on video, but it's actually signed by all of you guys at different. I think when I got it, I got it on eBay again, and it came up, and I think I actually have the press clipping with it as well. So and Oni's actually signed it too. He just signed it, right. Oni.
Oni would be in it. Correct.
Yeah, and I mean, I actually have it framed because it's one of my, I have a lot of stuff, but it's probably one of the coolest things that I've ever come across because I'm like, this is a band it's Cold Sweat, but it's actually Ferrari, which I always thought was like a really cool thing.
Right, and at that time and stuff, what's cool about that is Oni moving on, doing Lynch Mob and becoming that in Lynch Mob, and us doing Cold Sweat. So there's little connections and ties, throughout this whole thing of all these people that, it's strange to me, then you add the Black and Blue guys. So it's like my life has been kind of like one step after another intertwining, with different other people and stuff like that. So it's been cool.
And the cool thing is it's like this interconnection with Kiss too. Which is, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like it goes, I mean, there's Lynch Mob, of course, but it's just you guys doing the Kiss thing. And I mean, Tommy Thayer going on to play in Kiss. So
exactly,
there's that as well. So a lot of people may not realize that. So hopefully another thing when they're listening to the show, they're like, wow, this is kind of.
It winds, yeah.
Yeah, which is cool. And I mean, for those that don't know, if you go on YouTube, those Ferrari demos, they don't sound the greatest, but there are songs there that weren't on the Cold Sweat album as well that are available on YouTube.
That's right. Yeah. And I think there's, from what I remember, I think there's a few songs that were post Cold Sweat as well.
Oh, there is. I don't know if I've heard those.
As well, I think there's a couple of other songs that were going to be on the second record, but we never did the second record. Oh,
I know there's Sweating Bullets songs on YouTube as well, which are great, which sound amazing.
Now that's the 4 songs without Mark Ferrari.
Right, with Billy DeVette, right?
Right, yeah.
Those are great songs.
That's what I thought too, but Mark, and I understand that Mark didn't want to, like when we did the Monsters of Rock in 2020, we did the reunion.
Yeah.
And we added the newer songs into the set and stuff. And I can understand why Mark didn't want to do those other newer songs because he only wanted to do the ones that we did with him, which was understandable.
Yep.
But those other songs were good just the same.
They were so good, man. They were, I mean, if you think about it, if it had been 2-3 years prior and you guys had been working on those songs, they would have been they would have been amazing. They were amazing, but they would have actually, it probably would have got you a deal.
Right. Wrong time. We and I think a lot of it, and it's not to be blamed or anything, but it was the circumstances because of our singer issue. We were supposed to come out before all of those bands, before Hurricane and Slaughter and all of those other bands that came out in 89, 90. We were supposed to come out 88, between 88 and 89. But because of what happened with the singer, we caught the tail end of that movement. And unfortunately, anything past that got swallowed because everything changed.
Everything changed. I mean, it was 90, but I mean, Nirvana came in 91, but still things were already starting to change.
Correct.
It was, but I mean, let's be honest, MCA Records, they had so many bands on that label too.
I know.
Which was, it was so diluted.
Right. It was just way too much fighting for air, and we had on our side was we had a great manager. Wendy Dio was great. She was so instrumental in a lot of the things, plus Ronnie. I mean, we had Ronnie in our corner. We had Wendy in our corner. Even Brett Hartman, who was the A&R guy, he fought and fought and fought and fought. And we just, wow, look at this band. I mean, why don't you give this band a chance? Well, we're moving on. Well,
that's crazy. Look at the
impact that we did just within that year's time of, it's wow. Why not give them a chance, But we tried and it just, Yeah,
it was. I from my perspective, I remember Metal Edge. You guys coming out. There's, these great photos. You guys, the band looked great. You're like, oh man, these guys are destined to be the next big band. And then a few months later, you read, oh, Cold Sweat was dropped. It's like, what? Are you kidding me? Really?
Right.
It was like, this makes no sense.
Yeah, I know. Well,
but
what do you do? I mean, you keep going and move on. And I think that's what led Chris and myself to wanting to do something different. Yeah. Because we were tired and so fed up and upset of fighting and arguing. And are we getting another album? Are we this? Are we that? What are we doing? Well, you know what? We need a break. So that's what led us right into the Kiss thing, because I was ready for something different and I didn't know what. But all my life, I'd been this huge Paul Stanley Kiss guy since I was a teenager. In Metal Edge, they did histories of all four of us. Yeah. And there's pictures of me and stuff, and they interview with me and stuff. And I said, look, I used to stand out on a 2-story roof when I was a teenager with a tennis racket playing Kiss music, thinking I was Paul Stanley. That's awesome. That was like something all my life. I thought, wow, how cool would that be? Never thought it would ever happen, but that was my guy. That was the guy that
So,
wow.
So how did that whole thing come about? So Sweating Bullets is more or less done. You're looking to move on?
Right. So me and Chris decide we would just go out to like local clubs just to, have fun and stuff. And then one night we were at a place called FM Station in North Hollywood, and Tommy and Jamie were there, and we'd known of them and stuff. So we all hung out together and sat around, and we I don't know how it fully happened all the way, but there was conversation about, well, what are you two guys doing? Well, they're not doing a whole lot. Black and Blue at that point, if everybody remembers, they were, doing a whole lot. Yeah. Jamie was doing I think Freight Train Jane.
Yep.
Tommy was doing
Shake. What was that called?
It.
Shake the Faith? Was that what that was called? Shake
right. So they were doing those. And then Chris and I were like, well, we're in the middle of figuring out what we want to do. And I don't know who it was. You'd have to ask, because I still can't remember. Ask any of the other three.
Yeah.
Whose crazy idea was it to go, hey, why don't we start a Kiss tribute band? I have no idea. And it just happened. And we looked at each other and we just kind of like, what? You got to be kidding. How would we do that? The thought was, well, okay, Chris plays bass. Yeah. Tommy plays guitar. Okay, that's fine. Chris could sing. We knew he could sing. And we thought, okay, well, Jamie sings and I play drums. Well, how are we going to whatever? Well, the two of you guys have to swap. And I swapped.
Oh, my God.
I said, okay. Oh, and I thought about it and I go, oh, man. So at the end of the night, I looked at them and I kind of said, okay, let's just do this. Give me 2 weeks. I'll go home. I'll sit for 2 weeks and do nothing but this. If I can do it, let's set up a rehearsal. If I can come in there and actually play, sing, and pull this thing off, we'll do it. If not, it's foolish. It's not going to work.
Right.
And so I did. 2 weeks later, me and Chris got together, and I just recently saw the photos of the very first time him and I actually put the makeup on was at my apartment. And I looked at it and I laughed. I said, oh, I remember that time. So 2 weeks came. We did a rehearsal. Everybody looked at each other and said, okay, let's do it. And we thought, do what? Let's just do it.
Yeah.
So our first thing was we were just going to do it as fun. We'll put the makeup on. We'll put Kiss t-shirts on and just, jeans or whatever and stuff. And just, we knew people at clubs and stuff that we could play. And we thought, well, we ain't got nothing better to do. Let's just, whatever. We started to do it that way. And the next thing we knew, everywhere we would play was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and more crowded. And the next thing we know, hey, the Kiss guys are here. What do you mean the Kiss guys are here? Yeah, Gene and Paul are here. Okay. Then it just escalated, one thing after another. And there's a picture that everybody has seen where Paul Stanley's putting my lipstick on. And all of a sudden, here we go. Now we're taking photos with them. Now it's starting to turn into, okay, so what do we got to do next? Well, if we're going to do it, we got to go full force. So now we got the outfits. We asked them where they got the boots. They told us the little Italian guy, and I can't even think of where in LA. And they said, go there, get the boots done, blah. It was unbelievable.
That is wild, man.
It was crazy. And the next thing you know, here we go. And it just, I can't even explain how it took off. I still to this day go, it was a Kiss tribute band. You got to be kidding me. And it took off. We went to Japan. We were on the Kiss conventions. We were on Entertainment Tonight. We in magazines. It was just insane.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember Metal Edge and just remembering back to that time and like a Kiss tribute band, like they are really promoting this. Like Jerry Miller's really getting behind this, and it's everywhere. And every month you would read about Cold Gin, and it was amazing. Right.
But we couldn't say that the Kiss guys were behind it. They didn't back, but they were behind it. But they couldn't let that out at that point in time because they said, well, we don't want to make it look like, this and that. But yet we're still taking pictures and they're this and they're that. And it was like a friend type of thing. We're all hanging around together. And then you saw pictures of all of us with Eric Singer and Bruce.
Right.
And we're Troubadour now. Now we're at the Troubadour, and there's 4 guys with no makeup and the 4 guys with makeup. And all of a sudden, it's just turning into this crazy thing. I mean, that's how I can describe it. I can't even describe it any more than that. Now, it's on every street corner. Everybody's in a kit. Everybody they look amazing, these guys that do this now. But back then, we didn't do it for that, We did it for a different reason.
That's crazy. So, now, Chris left, though, at one point, right, to join Saigon Kick?
He did, correct.
And Spiro came in?
Then Spiro, who was from the Canadian band Alive.
Alive, yeah.
And to this day, I still feel that both combinations were untouched. Like, what I mean by that is like when you saw the 4 of us with Chris, musically, vocally, and everything, it was top notch. But he was nervous to do the Fire, just little bits and pieces. He was, and I don't blame the guy. Who wants to do that? You're crazy. I mean, then when Spiro got in, it changed. It went to a different level. We lost a little bit of the sonicness of the band, but we gained this incredible. I used to look over at him and I would sit and go, holy crap. If I don't step up my game, I'm going to look like an idiot. And it got to the point where he was so amazing live that I had to sit and go nuts. I was like, okay, well, this is what Paul would do. He jumps off of this, jumps off of that, gets down. I was doing everything and anything. Like, it was insane. He pushed me so much higher that I was like, well, this was supposed to be just fun. now it's like getting out of control. But I loved both versions of the band. I thought they were both great. So
that's awesome. I mean, I have talked to the drummer from Alive. He lives in London, and he gave me a little bit of a, like a history of what Alive was doing back then. So Alive must have been, they were around at the same time up here in Canada then, I assume.
Correct. Right. And we had heard about him. Not that the other ones weren't good or anything. We didn't even look at it like that. We thought, well, we need to take a look at the Gene guy.
Yeah.
And we crossed paths. And the minute we saw him and the minute we we were done. We were like, this is the guy. This is it right here.
That's awesome. Wasn't there an advertisement with him beside Gene or something like
he's got the makeup on and they're holding the bass and they're face to face.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's incredible. The likeness was mind blowing. I still, when I see pictures, there's pictures on my Facebook and different other things like the Cold Gin page and stuff. And there's a picture of Spiro blowing the fire. And you can see me just to the side of the amps, just looking, going, oh my gosh, it's insane.
That's crazy. Yeah, I remember thinking back to that photo. I think that was in Metal Edge as well, or it was in one of the rock magazines. And you're just like, man, that guy looks like him. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Did he look like him off stage? Did he look like Gene? Yeah.
Yes. It was crazy.
Wow.
Back then, though, when Gene was back then, like Bill had more shape to his face and everything, and his hair was that kind of hair. It was that type of hair, and he just took the top of it and put it in a bun, and there it was. Wow. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, what did you guys think when he first walked in? Like, you're going, you probably didn't do first rehearsal with makeup on. So this guy walks in and you're like,
correct.
Right. You're probably like, holy shit, this is unreal.
Right. We did a rehearsal because we had already had other shows going. And, so we had to quickly do a rehearsal. So we did that and we had to quickly go up to San Francisco. So we played at the Stone in San Francisco. Was the first show with Spiro. And I'll never forget that, just looking over at him and going, holy crap, look at this guy. Man, this guy's killing me. And I just, from that day forward, I thought, okay, now I've got to change it up a bit more because he's really, man, he's doing that thing so good that, okay, here I go. And I just was just a nut. I was just an idiot. I just jumped off everything, ran everywhere. I just did whatever I could do to just try to keep up.
Wow. So, is there any live footage on YouTube or anything? Yeah. There is. Okay, I have to look that up because I've never pulled it up.
Yeah, on the Facebook page of the Cold Gin page, there's footage all over YouTube.
Cool.
There's footage. Yeah. It's crazy. I just saw footage kind of recently that somebody had taken, I can't even think of where it was, some city, and it's just rock and roll all night. And I look and I go, oh my God. I couldn't believe that we're running all over the place. It's insane. It's like, what? I'm surprised we didn't fall or break our necks or anything, Wow. But yeah, so I just saw that there's footage, definitely footage out there.
Wow, that's cool. Okay, I'm gonna have to look it up. Now, did Tommy sing? Then did he sing?
He sang some. He sang bits and pieces.
Okay, I always wondered that because I mean I don't think he doesn't sing in Kiss now, right? He doesn't do any of the Ace songs, does he?
I don't know.
Because I don't.
But we didn't see what people what people do now in the Kiss thing is they do the history of it.
Right.
What we did when we did it, because we were one of the first ones, we picked a year that we felt was the best.
Ah, cool.
Moment. So Alive for us, anybody who's a Kiss fan, it's great to hear Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over, and Love Gun. Those are great. But at that point in time, they turned more into a poppier or a younger.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, if you look at the back cover of Kiss Alive, look at that audience that they're playing for.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted. We wanted the black and silver to just get out there and just absolutely tear it up to where we didn't have to worry about, doing all the other stuff. So he didn't have to sing Shock Me. We didn't have to do I Love It Loud. We didn't have to do any of that stuff.
Yeah, and I have a hard time with Kiss and makeup doing non-makeup songs. I was like, that just seems weird to me. Like doing Lick It Up. I find that weird.
I do too. To me, I struggle with that. And I also struggle because I know Tommy and I know Eric so well, and I love those guys to death, but it's hard for me to watch those guys in Peter and Ace's makeup.
Yeah.
I know them, who they are and how they are, and they're great people. I just go, oh my God, it's so weird to see the two of them in that. Like, you know, I don't know. I think it's great. I love that they do it. I mean, but it's just me to see it. I saw it, you know, when Tommy did it with me doing it, you know, and I thought, oh, it's fun. Oh, this is a lot of fun. Wait a minute. It's not fun anymore. This is his job. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, they both do a great job. I mean, for me, and I support it. I think it was the only way for Kiss to carry on doing the makeup, right?
I agree.
Right.
That's one thing I'll give them. If you're going to put someone in makeup, those two guys are the only choice. They really, really are.
Yeah,
so
I agree. Yeah, because you couldn't put Bruce in Ace's makeup. He doesn't look like Ace, right? Where Tommy's kind of got that, you know, he pulls it off. It looks good.
Right. And there really wasn't any other drummer.
Right.
Think about it.
Yeah.
It's not Pete, not Eric Carr. Right. Eric Singer is, as far as I'm concerned, you can't have another drummer in Kiss than him. I mean,
No, I agree. Yeah.
That's you know.
Exactly. So it is what it is. It gets frustrating when I know, like, Paul's getting up there and people, they talk about it. They're like, well, he can't sing like that anymore. It's like, man, he's like, I don't even know how old Paul is. Is he close to 70? I don't know, but you know, he's still out there doing it, and I think it's amazing that he is.
I agree. To be able to do that, I mean, it's one thing to do it in your 20s, but to do it all through your whole life and still keep up that. There's something about him that I've always thought and I've always known since I was a teenager. There's something about him that he'll do that until he can't do it again. And if he can't do it again, he's done. Yeah. But until then, he's going to give you the best he can possibly bring or give at any given time. And that's the one thing about him. He's that kind of a person. I mean, that's what's great about him. That's why I've always had an admiration for him. Doesn't matter how old he is. Doesn't matter.
He still does his best, and he's going to bring it as best as he can bring it for the fan base, right?
He knows what he's doing, and he knows how to get it. And that's it. He is who he is. I mean, you know, so, and the funny thing about it is we're supposed to be tonight. I finally get the video for Generation Landslide. The video's done. Start releasing it, I believe, in the next day or two.
Awesome.
And the funny thing is what people will realize is that I've always had that little bit of Paul Stanley in me. And when you see it on the video, you're going to know it, because I've always felt that he was the ultimate front guy, the ultimate. Even some of my singing is similar to his, because I like his phrasing, I like his melody, and I love the way he moves and he controls. He's a front man with a guitar instead of a front man like David Lee Roth is a front man. You know, you run all over, whatever. He's a front man with a guitar. Looks so damn cool that, wow, man, that's awesome. You know, so there's similarities when people see the video of this, and that's who I am. So,
yeah, no, you know what? And I'm glad you brought us back to that, because I was trying to work back to Generation Landslide. And I had a few questions, like, how long have you been doing this project?
It's only been in the last couple of years.
Okay.
And it was originally supposed to be where I had songs and I was just looking to get them out. And then once there was interest in it, then the only natural thing to do after that is say, okay, well, I have to put a band together. If we're going to actually do it, let's just do it and do it right. So I put a band together around it, and it just kind of went from there. And I don't even know what to say about it. I'm so grateful and thankful that I actually am able to even do this. And it's nothing against me playing drums. You know, people ask me, oh my God, well, you're this great drummer. Why don't you just keep playing drums? I don't want to, it's not that I don't want to play drums anymore, but I wanted to do something different on a different instrument, doing a different thing, just to see, like I did the Kiss thing. I just want to see if I can do it. If I can't do it, I'll bow out gracefully and call it a day. I have no problem with that.
Well, the good indication is that song is killer. So I'm really looking forward to the album. So I think you do a great job at it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So we have the second one comes out in May. The second song is coming out in May, and the album's coming out in June with the third song. Cool. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to just coordinate one after another, create a buzz with the first song, see what happens, let it die a little bit, do the video now we've got the video done, we'll see if we can generate some more interest. Second one, we're already starting to work on us getting the video going and together. The song will come out sometime in May, and then just build it to the record. When the record comes out, hopefully there's enough hype and buzz and something about it to where we can hopefully go out on the road and start doing this whole thing,
That's awesome. Now, I mean, a very important question is, who is in the band besides yourself?
So who's in the band is the other guitar player is a friend that I had known from years ago in old Las Vegas. He was in a band that used to open up for Xcursion.
Wow.
And we became friends again. We had drifted for many years and stuff, and we got reacquainted again and stuff when it came out here. And I was looking for a guitar player, keyboard guy to do a tribute band or a cover band that would be a utility guy. You know how you have a guy who could play guitar and keyboards? Because I could play guitar, I needed another guy who could play guitar and keyboards. So when that kind of fell through, I asked him, I said, well, I'm putting together this original thing. Would you be interested? And he listened to it and he loved it. He thought the material was great. Said, absolutely, I'm in. So then I turned around and I got the drummer who actually I've known for 30 something years, and we drifted apart just the same. And I knew if I would ever do an original thing, that's the drummer I wanted, because he has what I bring, but his version of me, if that makes any sense. If people liked my playing on Cold Sweat, they'll love his playing because it's similar. It's just got this little thing to it, a little different, but it comes from the same thing as me.
Yeah.
And so he's the drummer. His name is Kenny Kadelka. He actually was in Lillian X.
Yeah.
For many years.
Killer drummer. Yeah.
And he's a great drummer, and I've always wanted him. So I got back in touch with him, and he heard the material again, and he said, yep, I'm in. And then I pulled a friend of mine who I played in a cover band in Ohio. When I had given up the music and kind of went on the lam there and in the suburbs of Cleveland, Ohio, I took this guy with me, and I played in a cover band with him for the last 15, 16 years.
Wow.
And so I was going to do this. I gave him a phone call and I said, hey, would you be interested? He goes, of course. Are you kidding? You don't even have to ask me. I'd be right there with it. Cool. So, and his name's Jonathan Swanson. So, and Sandy Stein is the other guitar player from Las Vegas. Yeah.
Cool.
So, and I said, okay, well, let's just see what we can do. Let's have fun with it. And if people enjoy it, let's do it. If they don't, hey, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yeah.
No. So.
Now, in terms of songwriting, did you write everything, or was it
I did.
You did?
I did. I wrote all 10 of the songs on there. And at this point, I'm already writing for a second thing. I've already got all 10 of the next songs, just because I come from the old school, like all those other guys, Aerosmith, Kiss, and all them. And they put the record out, but they know they have other material ready, just in case. This one bombs, they're ready. This one succeeds, they're ready, whatever. So I figured, well, I'll have a couple of albums in me. Let's just see where it goes and see what happens. And then that's it. So I'm already prepared for another thing, just in case.
Awesome. Now, I understand you're going to be playing drums with Steel City as well, which
I am.
Which is with Roy.
Doing a show with them. July 28th in Philadelphia.
Cool.
It's this 3-day festival thing. I don't know a whole lot about it.
Yeah.
But we're playing on the first. I think it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I just got their material, and I was told to just learn, X amount of these songs or whatever, and then we'll get together and try to hash it out, and I guess be ready for that. And
cool.
At this point, that's all I'm doing at this point. I mean, I know Mike is wanting to do a third record.
Yeah.
And he's got material ready, and he sent it out and stuff. But for me, it's his band.
Yeah.
So he can pick and choose, and then just tell me if all works out, And that's also contingent on if I can be available to do it more than, I told him I would do the July 28th. It's just, I don't know how much more or how further I can do it unless this, doesn't do anything or other things that I'm involved in. So,
yeah, that's cool.
But we'll see how.
That's cool. Mike was actually nice enough to send me. I had him on the show last year, and he was nice enough to send me the 2 CDs, the first 2. Yeah. The one with Roy and then the one with the other singer.
Right.
Yeah, which was awesome of him. I thought, man, this guy's cool. And I had talked to him probably about a month ago. We were messaging back and forth.
Real
cool guy.
Yeah, real guy. Roy actually was the middleman to that. He called me up one day and said, hey, the other band that I'm in, whatever, is looking for a drummer. What do you think and stuff? And I said, well, send me, is he cool or what? Yeah, he's a great guy. He's cool. You'll dig it.
Yeah.
And I liked it. And I was like, okay, cool. That sounds good. So, me and Roy being, in a thing together and not being Cold Sweat, that's kind of cool.
That is very cool. When I saw that come out, that I was like, oh man, that's awesome because, being a big Cold Sweat fan. So to see you guys playing together again is awesome.
Yeah.
You know what? I did want to ask you a couple more Cold Sweat questions.
Sure.
How did you get the Cold Sweat gig?
It was a combination of Mark Slaughter and Greg Chase on Badlands.
Really?
Yeah. So at that time, Mark, I believe, was doing demos with Fred Corey, was the drummer on it, and him, and I can't remember who the bass player was. I think Tommy might have been involved a little bit. He helped write something. Oni was there, and he was looking to put the band together. And so he had Oni, and then he had Eric, was the next one. And then me, I got in contact with him. He had gotten my information and my name and everything from Mark and from Greg Chason. And I auditioned and got the gig. And then he had a friend of his from Boston playing bass at the time, Mark Norman.
Right.
And it just didn't work out all the way with him. So I said to him, I know a guy. And little did they know, I was already prepping him. And I said, let's just do a couple of rehearsals. Here's the material. He went in there to do the audition, and Mark was blown away. Oh, my God. We never told him that I had gone through the material and worked with him like a week or so.
Cool, man.
And that's how Chris got the gig was, just came in and he just aced it, and that was it. And,
wow.
Yeah.
And then how did Eric come into the equation?
Pete Way.
Because he was in Wasted, right? Because Eric had played in Wasted, right?
That's right. And he knew some same mutual people, and Mark wanted another guitar player similar, like Keel. He wanted to keep the band. I don't know if he calls it more modern than Keel. I don't know what he called it, but it was similar to the Keel fashion. So he wanted 2 guitar players, a bass player, and a drummer. So that's how he got a hold of Eric. And Eric, I believe, was like several years younger than the rest of us, but he's such an amazing player that, his talents.
Wasn't he like 17 when he was playing with Wasted or something?
Yeah, he was young.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, amazing player. Now, one of my fondest memories of seeing the original video for Let's Make Love Tonight was your drum kit with that CS logo. I always thought that looked so cool.
Yeah.
Do you still have that?
Unfortunately, I don't. What's funny is most people keep a lot of different stuff like that, and I thought I would for a while. That's not the only question I've ever been asked. I've been asked, do you still have the Kiss stuff?
Oh.
I don't have any of it. I have no outfits. I have no boots. I have nothing. No, the gloves. I had the feathered gloves. I sold everything. People asked me if they could buy it, different parts and pieces and things that I thought were whatever. And I either sold them or I threw them away. And the same with the bass drum heads. I don't know whatever happened to them. They might have gotten torn. They might have, I just don't know. And we had the backdrops too.
You had the backdrops. Yeah, they're in the video. Yeah, and those looked awesome too.
Yeah. I have maybe Mark might have those still. Yeah. But unfortunately, I don't have the 2 bass drum. But I have headbands.
You do?
I'm wearing it. And it's a cold sweat headband. I still have a few of those. I kept those.
That's cool.
I don't know why.
No, I mean it's a nostalgic. I mean, it was part of your life, so I totally get that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I used to have Xcursion bass drum heads too.
Really?
I don't know if anybody ever knew. We did a video for one of the Xcursion songs.
Oh,
and it's unbelievable. We did it, and I would love to find a better copy. My copy jumps a bit, but it still blows me away. I've not watched it in 40 something years, and I put it on and I went, you got to be kidding. These young kids acting like idiots. And it's pretty funny. And I have the logo on both of the bass drums there too. Yeah.
Now I must ask you about the recording of that drum intro for 4 on the Floor.
Okay.
Did you guys work on that in pre-production? Was that all set out that that's how it was going to go, or was it kind of one of those off the cuff type of things?
I just came up with it. I literally just came up with that in the beginning of Crying Shame.
Yeah, because you have 2 drum intros on the first 2 songs on the album, which is cool.
So, when we played live or whatever, I'm the first person, everything's all whatever. And all of a sudden I'm the guy who's got to go out there by himself and all of a sudden do that drum intro. It's like, well, that's a little nerving, isn't it? But it just was part of the song. Mark had the thing. I believe he wrote that song, I think, with Tommy.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it just started. And so I just thought, well, let's do something different. I mean, you're going to start a record. Everybody knew that would be the first song.
Yeah.
But you can't, how are you going to start it?
Yeah.
Just 1, 2, 3, 4 and go in. So I thought, well, as we were learning and playing it and this and the other, I just came up with that drum intro. And then once it comes into it, the band kicks in and that's how it goes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I asked Roy when he was on the show back in December what he remembered of recording the album, but he said he didn't come in until later.
Correct. Right. Everything was really almost done, to be honest. See, he had bits and pieces on a few of the songs.
Right.
Long Way Down, I believe he had a part of. Killing Floor, Fistful of Money. I think he had just a few of them because he came in at the tail end of a lot of stuff that we had already had and we already had done, but we altered a little bit of it. Like when we got him and we were ready to finally record, we knew that we would change a couple bits and pieces because he was a totally different singer than Oni was.
Right.
Oni, vibe guy, a feel, you could play off of a beat or a rhythm or something. Roy is, man, he's Chop City. You got to play and he'll sing you a melody that, blow you away. So we altered, a few of the things here and there to just round it a little. It still has Oni-ness on it.
Yeah. Yeah, Crying Shame, the demo is very close. Like the demo that's on YouTube is very close to what Roy sang on the album, I think, right?
Correct. Yep, it is.
Now, did Oni actually do vocals on the recording of the album?
Nope, not at all.
Not at all.
Anything here of Oni was a demo.
Okay.
We had done demos. We did like 2 or 3 different ones. And then I think the 3rd or the 4th one was with Ronnie. Ronnie actually, the very last demo we did before Oni left, we did 2 songs, I believe, Crying Shame and a song called Stay. And Ronnie,
that's on the Medicine Wheel album, on the first Medicine Wheel.
And right? Ronnie was the producer, and Angelo Acuri, who was Ronnie's engineer for all his albums, he was the engineer on it. Yeah. So we went in and did the 2-song demo, and when you hear that, you sit and go, wow, production's through the roof. And listen to Oni's vocals, and you can tell that Ronnie is really getting him to just sing that melody that you hear on the album, similar, because at that point in time, well, I've been taken once again. That's why it's because that's Oni singing along the Ronnie style. And that's why Roy sounds similar to that.
That's cool. Huh.
And which was totally in Roy's wheelhouse anyway.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, man.
Nothing.
Roy's one of my favorite singers in the world. So, I mean, when on the Bevan Davies CD, his version of High Wire, the Badlands song, I was just like, wow, man.
He's an amazing singer.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I got to tell you a little thing. I don't know if you just saw it or not. You know, the Fifth, they just did like a week and a half.
Yeah.
Little tour. And I was looking on Facebook and stuff, and I came across this thing where somebody had videoed one of the songs, and it was Long Way Down.
No way.
And it was playing Long Way Down. And I had to message the band after that. I said, man, I just saw the video of you guys doing Long Way Down. I said, you guys killed it. What a great job you guys did on it.
Wow.
It was crazy. I had heard that through his time that he had done Cold Sweat songs.
I've heard him do Crying Shame.
That's what I had heard that he did, but I had no idea he did Long Way Down.
I didn't know that either. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
I'm going to have to check that out.
Oh my goodness. Look at this. With a 4-piece.
Yeah.
So the guitar player was trying to cover both parts. It was crazy.
That's nuts. I always wondered, was there a marketing plan in place for the next single and video before? Like, was there a whole plan in place?
Yeah, it was supposed to be Crying Shame.
Oh, I figured it probably would be.
It was supposed to be Crying Shame at the very beginning. That was the song. That was the video. That was the way everything was going. And at the last minute, they turned around and decided, no, we're going to go with this song. It's more commercial. And we thought, well, that's not what we wanted. We wanted Killing Floor, Long Way Down, Four on the Floor, Crying Shame. When you listen to that record, you hear Take This Heart of Mine is a great written song, and so is Let's Make Love Tonight.
Yeah.
But they're very, very commercial.
Yes.
And we wanted something stronger, something oomph. And then if you want to do Take This Heart of Mine or Let's Make Love Tonight, that's great. And then the third one was going to be the ballad.
Waiting in Vain. Yeah.
Right. At that time, that's what pushed Slaughter over the top. That's what pushed several bands, Warrant. Several of the bands pushed them over the top with the ballad. We never got to that point.
That's crazy. So, it's funny that you mention that, because when I first heard the album, my assumption when I first heard the album that Crying Shame was the first single.
Yep, it was.
Because to me, I thought that's the song that I think would have, it was always one of my favorite songs on the album.
Right. And that solidified the band. That's what the band was all about. Whenever you saw Cold Sweat live, it wasn't Waiting in Vain. It wasn't commercial. It wasn't whatever.
Right.
We, right out from the gate, we just Four on the Floor, and we just tore it up right after that into Love Struck, and then into this and this. And we just kept going until we got to the Foghat song. Thank you, good night. That was the type of band we were. So Crying Shame was by far the most natural choice for the band to put out.
Yeah, and that makes total sense to me. So well, I mean, obviously it sounds like MCA made a lot of mistakes.
They did. And then here's the funny thing about it is, so we're out on the road and the album comes out, and when are you going to do a video? Well, we're waiting. Waiting.
Oh my God.
I had to do the video. So Let's Make Love Tonight is the single. And we're thinking to ourselves, what are we going to do for a video? So then we asked Wendy, and Wendy asked Ronnie, and he said, absolutely. So what I love about the video is the fact that I think the song is good, but the video is even better because of the simple fact that Ronnie gave the okay the night before down in Texas for us to use
his stage,
he said,
right?
They can use the stage, they can use the effects, and our crew. Give them whatever they want. So we were like, wow, we're this brand new band that don't have nothing. And when you look at that video, all of a sudden you think, wow, look at these guys. You know, it was all on account of Ronnie. And he was even in it and everything. I mean, he was such an amazing person. He helped this band out tremendously. That's how we were able to play the Monsters of Rock over in Germany, because they want Ronnie. And they turned around and said, Ronnie will go, but we want this band to go on there with him. And that's how we ended up getting there with Vixen and Poison and Whitesnake and Aerosmith. And there we were, the opening act in front of close to 100,000 people because of Ronnie and Wendy. It was crazy.
That's nuts. Now, besides MCA, were there other labels that wanted to sign the band?
Yes. And here's the ending to that whole story. At that time, we were doing the demos and we were doing things, and there were smaller labels interested. But if everybody remembers the timeline, that was when Ronnie was going to get back together with Black Sabbath.
Ah, okay.
So what happened is we were all standing around, and we can't blame Wendy. That's her. I mean, Ronnie's going to go to Black Sabbath. That's way more important than we were. Yeah. So you can't blame. At the same time, you're our manager, and you left 5 guys sitting there going, hey, what about us? Hey. And the next thing you know, smaller labels are interested. Well, half the band wants to do it, and the other half of the band don't want to do it. So we're fighting and arguing, going, what are we going to do?
Right.
Look,
oh, man.
The story's been said a million times about anybody who's a musician and tries to make it in the music business. You want to make music. You want to be a recording artist. Yeah. I didn't come to LA to just, hang around and whatever. I wanted to make music. So I wanted to go with, hey, if it's a smaller label, let's give it a try. What have we got to lose?
Yeah.
So that was where part of my whole change of the bittersweetness that we talked about earlier at the beginning of the whole Cold Sweat thing. I loved it, but at the same time, I didn't love it because I was upset that Wendy went with her bigger client, left us to our own devices. The 5 of us are fighting and arguing. Nobody could make a decision. Then what are we supposed to do? Who's going to take over?
Yeah.
And that's why we didn't do a second record. And that's why the band broke up, or Mark Ferrari left, or we, mutually let him go and he left at the same time.
Yeah. Huh.
That's how all that happened. And, you got to remember, we're only 25 years old at that point. Yeah. So a 25-year-old kid who's out in LA, you think, okay, well, I got the first taste of it, did a record, did a video, did a tour. Okay. What's next? What? Nothing next. Well, I didn't care for that very much. So.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Metal Eds was still giving Sweating Bullets exposure. So you guys were still, I'd open the magazine and you guys, the band would still be in there. I mean, different guitar player, but I was still interested to know what was going on.
But we didn't have a management enough yet. Again.
Yeah.
And we didn't have, now Mark is a lot of, people, Mark did a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't realize behind the scenes that created all that, the band and everything, and the funny thing is I didn't realize how much he did until it came to my turn. Now I'm doing it all. So he wore a lot of hats and he did a lot of things that a lot of people didn't realize. So when you lose something like that, everybody could say what they want. Oh, they got ideas like crazy. Somebody's got to implement it and somebody's got to take control and lead it. He was that guy. And without that, we were kind of left just sitting there, 5 guys just going, okay, now what?
Yeah,
well, I think it's time to call it quits.
Yeah, that's too bad. I mean, and you factor in the times of hard rock.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Trying to make it at that time, because Yeah, I mean, it was tough on every band. It was tough on bigger bands like, like Warrant and Slaughter and all those bands. I mean, everybody struggled.
You had to change your style.
Yeah.
So at that time, here was the choice. Find another management. Someone's got to take the ball, the reins, and we got to alter the music now. Now it's not Cold Sweat anymore. You got to sit and make it heavier. You got to scream a little more. You got to and it was just, the factors were just too many, and that was it.
It was a weird time as a music fan at that time. I mean, for me, it was a hard pill to swallow because I wasn't necessarily into what was being told to me that I should be listening to now. I was like, well, that's really not me. That's not my thing. This is the thing before was what I really loved.
Right, exactly. And they could say what they want. Oh, 80s hair bands. Oh, 80s hair bands. But you know what? That revived a lot of the music. What people don't realize is that was a huge scene when all of those bands, every band from Skid Row to Cinderella to Motley Crue to everybody. That was such a big scene up until the 90s. It changed.
Yeah.
Well, here comes Nirvana and here comes Soundgarden and Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains. Okay, I get it. Now it's shifting. So now what's everybody going to do?
Well, I mean, it was, in terms of how I term it, it was kind of unhappy music as opposed to what we were getting before, which was a little bit more positive, I guess you could call it.
Right.
Nothing against those bands, but I still wanted that positive message in the music I was listening to.
Right. You wanted to feel good. You wanted to be happy. You wanted to see everybody yelling and screaming and jumping and shouting and having a good time.
Exactly.
That turned around where everybody was like in a state of like, ooh,
I know. It's
what happened?
And you try and describe that to people now. They're like, well, what are you talking about? I said, well, it was a lull point for me in music. It was hard to grasp that because everybody's walking around, like depressed and, like, it's like, no, music isn't supposed to be. I don't listen to music to feel that way.
Right. It has its place. Don't get me wrong.
It does.
I mean,
absolutely.
Fans, I think are amazing. I'm a huge Alice in Chains fan. Always have been.
But
at the same time, it just, you lose some of that energy, that excitement, that everybody's just standing there and just going, yeah, man, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. But where's the excitement?
When you talk about Alice in Chains, though, they got lucky because they got lumped into Seattle when they were originally lumped into, into the, I guess you call it the hair thing, because I remember up here on Much Music, the Power Hour would play Man in the Box. It was lumped in with that. It wasn't lumped in with Nirvana. Right.
Same with Stone Temple Pilots.
Right.
That was another huge band that I loved. I loved both of those bands, and I thought, well, it's not really grunge. They're not really Seattle, even though one came from Seattle. They're different. They're different than those other bands.
They are totally different. They were totally different. They just got lumped into it. And I mean, you didn't lump Queensryche into, because they were from Seattle, into that. Right?
Right. Yep. You're right.
So it all comes down to labels, right? That labels, the record labels put a label on how they're going to market bands.
Right. The benefit for them.
Right.
Do they really care about bands? Do they really care about fans or people or music people in general? No, they care about the almighty dollar. So what's the next scene? Oh, let's just do this scene. Let's find these kinds of bands. Let's find these kinds of artists. And it's still happening today.
It is. It totally is.
I don't knock it. There's always a place for a pop star puppet. I've always said that all my life. You take the Sean Cassidys and the whatever and stuff, you modernize them and you turn them out to these people now. I get it. But it's all because of labels want to make their own money. They don't care about anything other than that.
I think it's people like us that listen to music and we kind of see past that. You know what I mean? We get it.
Right.
There's people that are going to buy into that, but then there's people kind of like us that are going to say, no, that's not my thing. I don't buy into that. But and a lot of people do.
And the funny thing is once again, going back to what I'm doing now, is from what I've heard, when people have heard the different songs on the record, they're like, I can't quite place it. It's modern, but it sounds like the 80s, but yet it sounds like the 90s, but it sounds like there's so many different elements. I had a friend of mine who didn't feel the sensation, and I saw him out at a place somewhere, and he goes, I got to be honest. He said, I listened to the song. He goes, at first, wow, okay, it's kind of similar to other stuff. He said, but when you got into the middle bridge and you shifted gears and turned it into it, he goes, that was it. I was sold. I was hooked. And from that point forward, I think the song's great. I said, everything that I've written is not it's not grunge. It's not pop. It's such a mixture of what I hear in my head that I just combined. And I feel that people now are ready to swing something around. I think this is,
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I agree with that.
It's not labeled hair metal, but people are listening to it and going, it sounds familiar, but I can't quite place it. It sounds cool. It's different. Yeah,
maybe that's why I got the Richie Kotzen vibe out of it, like early Richie Kotzen, like when he was on Shrapnel Records, because I couldn't place it.
Right. It's got little different elements. If you want good drums, it's got good drums. If you want, like double harmonies, there's harmony guitars on there because there's two guitars. There's singing vocals. There's harmonies. There's all different things within the context of, well, this is so typical. This sounds like whatever. I didn't want to do that because I just felt at some point, it's like jeans or shirts or any other thing. The fad comes, something comes back around and hopefully catch on it again and go, wow, this is a new spin on something that's, I don't know, old Aerosmith. You know what I'm saying? That, and that's what I went for. And so far people have said, I can't quite place it, but it sounds different. And I'm like, okay, well, that's good. Do you like it? And they say, yeah, I think it's great, but I can't. Well, that's good. I don't want it to sound like Guns N' Roses or,
Yeah, you want
Kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally get that. Yeah, and that is totally what I get out of it, because you're trying to place it. Because everything you listen to now, you're like, you try and compare it to something. I think you always do. It's a natural thing, right?
Right. Especially nowadays. It used to be way back, however many years ago, you can generally get into the clump of it. Yeah. But now every single person is looking for, what does that sound like? Does that sound like they're waiting for the next whatever it is? And that's where you got to just go with what you feel. And if it sounds like, have you ever heard that before? It sounds familiar, but I can't place it. Good.
Yeah, that's good. I referenced that back to the 80s and the first time I heard Guns N' Roses. And I heard Axl for the first time and I didn't like it. I was like, I don't get this. Like I went and bought the tape. And I'm like, but then the more I listened to it, the more I was like, holy shit, this is really good.
Yep. Different, and it's like a modern spin, because when you listen to their riffs, that first Guns N' Roses album is classic.
Yeah.
When it came out, the way they put it all together, it's 70s material, but not 70s.
No, exactly.
It's at 80, it's got that new spin, that new feel that people sit and go, welcome to the jungle, and you listen to the riffs. That's all old Zeppelin and
totally is. But then, but then you factor in Duff's bass playing though, which was more punk, right? And you've got this punk element on the bass end, and then you've got Izzy, who's kind of like this Hanoi Rocks type of. It was. I think it was the right time for that to come out.
Yep, but it did this thing that we were just talking about. That when you hear it. God, I can't place it. Yeah. It sounds, but I can't. And then the next thing you know, one song after another, you just listen through to them and you go, wow, I just listened to that whole record. Man, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah, I got to listen to it again.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about when, that's how I'm trying to approach it. Whether people agree with it and like it that way, that's not for me to judge, but that's how I approached it, to say, I'm going to take the listener. Here's the first song. Here's the second. And by the time you get to the last, you go, okay, either yay or nay or whatever. And that's it. Yeah. But it's going to be different.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm really looking forward to the album. So June, it's going to be released. I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight. It was truly a pleasure. And I really appreciate the fact that we talked Cold Sweat and Xcursion, as well as talking about Generation Landslide, because that was a lot of fun for me, because I mean, loving that Cold Sweat album so much, to be able to get to talk about it too, and get some more. I mean, I've had Mark on the show and I've had Roy, but you gave me a little bit even more perspective of stuff that I may not have known.
Right. Yeah. Well, my version of things is just kind of like straight to the heart, and sometimes people like it and sometimes people don't. But that's my memories. That's my recollection of things. I don't want to sugarcoat it. It just kind of was what.
No, it was. Great.
I do appreciate how much. I'm glad you liked it. That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
Thank you so much. What's that? Sorry.
I said, even though I'm just the drummer, but I do thank you and appreciate it.
Yeah, but sometimes a drummer, I mean, I have had many drummers on my show, and there's always a different insight sometimes from the drummer perspective, not just from the playing, but it's, being within the band. And sometimes a drummer remembers more than everybody else for some reason.
Yeah, it's a different take. It's a different perspective of it. Yeah. And I do agree with now changing instruments and being that other person of it. I know what you mean. Being the drummer part, you remember different elements that other guys in the band might not have saw in that thing. So
I mean, and let's be honest, the drummer is usually the guy who's in the studio from the beginning.
Correct.
You're the guy laying down the drum tracks that that becomes the album. So so that's kind of cool. Yeah,
awesome.
Okay, Anthony.
Well, it was good talking.
Yeah, you too, man. I'll let you know when this posts, and I'll tag you in it, and it should be hopefully in the next week or so.
Okay, cool. And I'll keep you informed on anything else going on. I'm sure you'll be aware of it. Any of the songs or anything else that happens, I'll get in touch with you.
Okay, thanks, man. Okay, have a great night.
All right, you too.
Okay,
all right.
Okay, take care. Bye. Bye.